Thanks everyone for joining in today for our Learn About Law Services presentation. We're going to go into a little bit more detail about what our Civil Rights Project does here in Nassau and Suffolk County, and also our Mental Health Law Project. You'll get to meet some of our staff attorneys and ask any questions you might have regarding their projects. So let's see here. So first, just a little housekeeping. If you could keep your microphone muted, that way we can all hear each other, that'd be great. If you do have questions, feel free to put them in chat or you can raise your hand. This is going to be more of a casual conversation, so definitely feel free to raise your hand so you can ask the question. And it'd be great if you would like to, definitely turn on your video so we can all see each other. But I know some people are eating lunch, so that's fine too. So if you're unfamiliar with Nassau Suffolk Law Services, we are Long Island's largest civil legal services provider. We handle over 6,000 cases every year. We do direct representation, phone consultations, brief service, referrals to other agencies. We have offices in Hempstead, Islandia, and Riverhead, and our case handling staff include staff attorneys, paralegals, and social workers. We do also have partnerships with other community agencies such as Empire Justice and Brighter Tomorrows, amongst others. We have offices, like I said, in Hempstead, Islandia, and Riverhead. These are our addresses and phone numbers. Clients should call our office that's closest to them and in the county where they live. We have approximately 20 different programs. Our family court programs are focused in Suffolk County. We have our domestic violence family court project and our child support defense project. We have disability and health related projects, one of them who's talking today, the mental health law project, but we other ones such as the education and disability rights project, our disability advocacy project. All of the descriptions of all of these different units are on our website, so you can definitely check it out, nslawservices.org, so you can find out a little bit more about the more details of all of the units. But we've also been doing these type of presentations since the beginning of last year, so you can check out our YouTube channel to see all of the different presentations that we've given on the different units. But we have our housing unit, which is eviction defense, prevention, and our foreclosure projects. Those are both in both counties. And then we have other different units that specialize in whether it's veterans, consumer debt, our education debt consumer advocacy project, which is fairly new, our civil rights project, which we'll be talking about today, public benefits, senior citizens project, which is only in Nassau County, and our community legal help project in both Suffolk and Nassau counties, which is based out of the libraries or also out of the court and local senior centers. And then we have our Legal Support Center for Advocates, which Kathy Lucidi heads. She's not here today. Hannah Fitzpatrick is the paralegal. Say hi, Hannah. And I'm the supervising attorney. There she is. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
But we provide technical support to advocates, and what we mean by advocates are folks who work for nonprofit agencies, work for an elected official, work for government agencies or other attorneys, anyone who you are advocating on behalf of a client. You can give us a call, and if your client is having a legal issue or you have a legal question, or you want to figure out if it's something that your client is going through, if our organization will assist with that, definitely give us a call. I've had folks who, called, looking for a sample power of attorney. I've had folks calling, talking about how the landlord turned off their client's electricity. So stuff like that. We also host community trainings. We did one this month on education debt. And also we have lots of future trainings coming up this year on the horizon. We are thinking about having a more focused presentations on education, on disability rights, amongst and consumer debt. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears open for that. We publish newsletters. We have our monthly advocacy tips that we send out. We also just did our print newsletter, which highlighted a bunch of success stories that we had along with advocacy tips as well. But anyone can feel free to give us a call if you're an advocate. We have our extensions there. Clients should be directed to the main line so that way they can get into the proper unit to be screened for eligibility. But just a quick poll while I have you here. Just want to see who we have with us today. So I'm just going to launch one quick poll and then we'll get into the presentation. What type of advocate are you? So if you just answer that really quick, and if there's more than one answer, that's fine too. Okay, I'll give you another 5 seconds. You can just answer that. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. We'll share the results. So today we have with us a lot of attorneys, nonprofit employees, some social workers, some church volunteers, paralegals, and self-advocates. So thanks so much for joining us today. Hope you learn a lot. Okay, and that's just a QR code for our website. And we're probably not going to be sharing any legal information here today, but if we do, just know that, you know, we always try to keep our educational materials up to date. And anything that we talk about today is legal information. It's not advice. Legal advice does depend on each situation and the facts of each situation. So any materials or information you learn today cannot replace the advice of competent legal counsel. Okay, with that, I'm going to pass it off to Ellen Hoyle, one of our staff attorneys here in Suffolk County Civil Rights Unit. So thanks, Ellen.
Hi, can we get the next slide, Sharon?
Do you see the slide of the Civil Rights Unit? Who are we? Do you want me to go?
Oh, yeah, I was thinking we were going to the next slide.
Okay.
So the Civil Rights Unit is located in Nassau and Suffolk County. Bob Scanlon is the law graduate in Hempstead who handles most of the work there. Islandia is supervising attorney is Paola Rengo, and I'm the staff attorney. And again, my name's Ellen Hoyle.
And Bob, do you want to say hi to everybody?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. I think Ellen said it, but just my supervisor is John Batanchev at the Hempstead office.
Awesome, thanks.
To qualify for the Civil Rights Unit, must live in Nassau or Suffolk County, and our income guideline is 200% or less of the federal poverty level. I'm not exactly sure what that level is this year yet. The Civil Rights Project does two things. We help people who are reintegrating into the community after becoming justice involved. And we cover such things as employment discrimination in New York State. Refusing to hire somebody just based on their convictions is against the law and discrimination according to, and can be filed with the HRC. Section 8 issues, if you're denied a voucher or denied Section 8 housing because of your conviction, we can help with that. We just, matter of fact, helped a gentleman who served 30 years and was denied a voucher. We were able to get him a voucher and to get him housing, because you cannot be denied housing based on a conviction when it comes to public housing, unless there are certain circumstances. We also work under sealing the current statute to seal criminal records after, I believe it's 10 years in New York as of now. But the Clean Slate Act is going to come into effect in next year in January, which is 8 years. It becomes automatic, but they have New York State has 3 years after that to come up with a plan on how exactly they're going to do it. So we'll probably be doing it manually for a while. Certificates of relief from civil disability and certificates of good conduct remove bars for employment and other things that are imposed under the law when you're convicted. We do a lot of those. Basically, a certificate of relief, you can have one felony, but as many misdemeanors as you have. Certificates of good conduct, you need to wait a little longer to get. You have to complete your full sentence, and you can have multiple felonies, but again, you have to wait a certain period of time. Denial of professional licenses also includes DMV licenses, but if you need a license to become a barber or a masseuse or something like that where you're not getting your license, we can help you with that once you've been denied. Denial of employment due to prior neglect and abuse findings or criminal convictions. Again, just denying you because you're convicted of a crime is not enough. They have to look at each person as an individual, and they have to show a direct relationship with the job that you're applying for. We've done a bunch of those where a person is going for a job and they have a conviction of one thing that's not related to the job. Housing discrimination and landlord-tenant matters. Again, it's discrimination in New York State for you to be denied housing based solely on a conviction. Public housing does allow for some limitations, such as if you're a lifetime sex offender, registrant, if you're convicted of producing methamphetamine on a publicly owned property, if you are denied public benefits or Social Security Administration, SSDI or SSI, and you're requesting a fair hearing, we can help you with the fair hearing to overcome the denial of those benefits. Child support modifications we do because once you're incarcerated, you're allowed to automatically request a downward modification. We can help with those once you've come out. If you haven't done it while inside, we can also work on getting your driver's license back to an extent if you have backwards arrears and are now in public assistance. We help with consumer debt. If you have incurred a lot of debt and you now need to restructure, basically we do anything the other units do, we can do in our unit based just on the fact that you've been convicted of some crime. The other thing that we do, which is why it's called the Civil Rights Unit and no longer the Reentry Unit, is we now assist with transgender, non-conforming, non-binary people who wish to apply for a name and sex designation change in the court system. We've discovered over the last year that I've been doing this, that it is a much bigger hurdle than a lot of people in the courts think it is. There's a lot of privacy issues that have come up. Documents really need to be sealed. They need to get anonymous captions, and all this stuff has to be included in the motions, which are not always available on the do-it-yourself forms that New York State provides. So that's the one big thing, that project that I've been working on for now almost a year. So that's pretty much what the Civil Rights Unit does. Does anybody have any questions about some of the things we might do? Okay, I guess not. So Sharon, do you want to move it on?
Sure, I just do have, I have one question, or
Okay.
maybe more of a comment, but I know we might be speaking to the choir, but would you mind just saying why it's important to address, especially like the the denial of professional license, the housing issues, like why that's really important for this
Well,
community?
because the issue is if you're trying to show that the system is built on the idea of rehabilitation, penalizing people after they've served their time doesn't lead to rehabilitation. It is more likely to lead to recidivism. So if we can get people proper housing, we can get them a job, we can get them a license to do something. Anything that we can do to help them succeed is going to lead to a better society.
Awesome. Thanks, Ellen. Appreciate it. Okay, so if no one has any questions for Ellen, then we'll go on to the Mental Health Law Project. And that's our staff attorney, Sola Ramola, who is out of our Hempstead office. So take it away.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm not really used to presenting, so please bear with me as I speak about the Mental Health Law Project. So we're located in both offices, Nassau and Suffolk. I'll speak about the Suffolk office first. They have a supervising attorney. Her name is Paula Arango. One staff attorney, Whitney, and two law graduates, Danny Hernandez and Farzana. I work, as Sharon said, I work in the Hempstead office, which is our Nassau office, and our supervising attorney is John Batanchev. We have two staff attorneys, Elizabeth Berkowitz and myself, as well as one law graduate, Lisa Rockline, and one paralegal, Stephen Martinez. Next slide, Sharon.
And I think Lisa's here if she wants to say hi.
Okay.
I think that's who it
Hi,
is.
everyone.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. So, in order to qualify for the Mental Health Law Project, we have specific criteria and eligibility that a person must meet in order to qualify for our unit and us to be able to assist them. So a client must, one of the requirements is that a client must receive SSI or SSD based upon a psychiatric diagnosis of severe mental illness. So for example, some of those things may be bipolar disorder, depression, anxiety, paranoia, schizoaffective disorder. Those are some examples that a person must be diagnosed with and receiving SSI, which is supplemental security income, and SSD, social security disability insurance benefits before we can assist them with that. Another one is that the client must have been an inpatient at a psychiatric hospital at least twice within the past 2 years. A third one is that the client also has to be seen in an emergency room for psychiatric problems at least 3 times in the past 18 months. And just so you're aware, one visit is countable in each 3-month period. So at least 3 times in the past 18 months and has to be within after the 3-month period for one to count as additional visit. A fourth way they can be eligible is that client has been an inpatient at a psych hospital for 6 consecutive months at any time in his life. So for example, if a client comes to us and they were hospitalized when they were young, but they come into us in their 20s, 30s, whatever the case may be, but then they had a psych hospital stay for 6 consecutive months at, let's say, for example, like when they were 10, they would fit the criteria for our unit. And then the last one has been residing in a community residence or supported housing for the mentally ill for 6 consecutive months. So some of the organizations we normally see that with is SAIL, South Shore Association for Independent Living. We have other associations like FREE, MHA, Mental Health Association, Central Nassau Guidance, Options. Those are some of the community residents or supported housing for mentally ill people that we've deal with as well. Next slide, Sharon. So the Mental Health Law Project, we're a multi-issue unit. We have a lot of overlap with a lot of the units in our organizations. A lot of the things that Ellen said earlier as well. We assist with a lot of the same kind of issues, and I'll speak to some of them. So the Mental Health Law Project, we're designed to provide legal assistance in civil matters to people who are severely and persistently mentally ill. I spoke about some of the severe and persistent mental illnesses that some individuals face, when I was speaking about eligibility. So our project, we focus primarily on issues related to the basic necessities of life, such as housing. When we talk about housing, talking about landlord-tenant issues. A person, our client who may be evicted from, it might be supported housing, mental health housing, or just even private housing where they're renting a room, or Section 8. Public benefits, when we talk about public benefits, we can assist with food stamps, public assistance, issues with Medicaid, childcare, whatever issues, client may have with regard to public benefits and dealing with DSS. We also represent in fair hearings at that level as well, and Social Security benefits. So a lot of times clients come to us, they're terminated from their SSI or SSD. They're they haven't been approved, they're being cut off, or they're seeking a change in the amount. We also assist clients with that. And child support is one area in family law that we assist clients with. And one thing I could speak to that is that we recently had a client who has minimal income, is only on SSI, which is a means-based program. And, our client was being charged over $300, a certain amount for SSI, and we got that for child support, sorry, and we got that ended up reducing to $25 a month. So that's some of the assistance that we provide in that area as well. I think that is it for me. So thank you, Sharon. So I'll toss it back over to Sharon.
Great, thanks so much, Sola. Does anyone have any questions regarding the mental health law project or anything else?
I do.
Hi,
I'm
Maria.
Maria. Hi. I wanted to ask about where you say that you give assistance with housing and that a person has to qualify. In order to qualify for your services, has to be in a supported housing situation.
Mhm.
I'm not clear about the assistance with housing. Is it only if a person's being evicted and has a severe mental illness? Is that the housing? This is, as you must know, there's so many people that don't have housing that are
Mhm.
severely mentally ill. That's my
So,
question.
yeah, okay, thank you, Maria. So we don't assist clients with looking for housing per se,
Okay.
but so we do, but in terms of the housing, it's not just evictions. Sometimes a client may have issues with, the landlord's not responding to something, so we may, get involved with assisting a client in terms of
I
trying to
see.
rectify that situation. Section
Mhm.
8, sometimes clients come to us with Section 8 issues, like their voucher is incorrect or the calculation is wrong. So we do advocacy in terms of that as well, where we try to assist with figuring out whether the numbers, what they're being charged with is correct, and try to figure out that situation.
All right. I have another one if that's okay.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah,
ask
go
another
ahead.
question?
As
Yeah.
it's for me, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just to let you know, I'm criminal justice chair for NAMI, Queens, Nassau. So that's where my questions, some of them are coming from. I wanted to know about if you do anything with alternatives to incarceration. Do you work with people that have been arrested who have severe mental illness to avoid having them add to the numbers of the incarcerated? That's a question.
So I think that's really more for Ellen. Ellen, would you mind
Okay.
answering the question?
I said I was thinking of the answer, and I think the answer is if they've been arrested but not yet convicted, whatever would happen would be part of the ongoing criminal charge. And that we would not handle. We only handle post-conviction work.
So it's only post conviction. I see. Okay.
But I will tell you that I should mention that I didn't really mention it in the PowerPoint, but what we do is a lot of what the mental health unit does for housing, we do for justice involved people. So if they're being evicted, they're having issues with the landlord. So we also do landlord tenant work.
I see.
But
Okay,
as to your other question, that would be part of the ongoing criminal charge pre-conviction.
okay,
And sometimes, you know, our units work together. You know, a lot of times our units work together. Like one unit might be dealing with the consumer debt issue and another unit might be
yeah,
dealing with the housing issue. So, you know, if we come across a client who's having multiple issues and we can address them,
yes.
then we address
Mhm.
them, or we make a proper referral. We do have social workers on staff as well. So, and I know Liz is here today. I don't know if you want to comment on anything, but you know, sometimes our social workers will help
Yeah.
out in certain situations as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
Mhm.
hello.
Hi,
I'm
Liz.
just,
hi,
oops, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, so we do have we do have social workers. I'm the director of social work. So we do work with all the units at law services. So that means connecting clients to services that we don't provide, making sure they're linked to appropriate services. I see somebody asked in the chat, and I'm just gonna just comment on it because I do
That's
have to
fine.
jump off to another meeting. But someone said about a hoarding issue, if a client has hoarding issues. So usually those referrals do come to the social workers, and we try to get them help. If somebody really has been diagnosed with a hoarding disorder, that there is no easy, quick fix for that. That's really a long-term process, but we do try to work with clients to get them help with it, to get services, to try to get help paying for cleaning up hoarding situations. Um, so yeah, and I think Maria, you had mentioned, and I'm not sure if I misheard you, about the mental health law project only being able to help clients that are in supported housing. So
yeah,
it's not just clients in supported housing. So the mental health law
no, it's
project
not.
works with clients in private housing as well, with all those landlord tenant issues. And if a client is homeless or facing homelessness and living with a mental illness or any other low-income Long Islander, those often come to the social workers. We don't, unfortunately, the housing resources, as I'm sure you know, are extremely limited. But we
Yes,
do try to talk to clients about what might be appropriate and eligible, what they might be eligible for. So we try to link them to any, open Section 8 list. We try to get them linked to treatment if they're not in treatment so that they can pursue a SPA application.
yeah,
So um,
okay. I
that's just a
thank
little
you.
bit about social work. Sure, sure,
Thanks, Liz, for chiming in.
of course.
So Maria, if you are good, I'm gonna go to the questions in the chat.
Of course, go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. So from Carly, do you represent clients in court who are fighting for custody? How much do services cost? So first off, we're completely free. We don't charge anything. And then Ellen or Sola, do you either of you represent clients in court who are fighting for custody?
I can just speak to that in terms of the mental health law project and what we assist with. So we only assist in uh, just really child support in terms of family law issues, and that's for the non-custodial parent. I know Sharon mentioned there's other units in Suffolk, so I don't know about how those units work. So
And Ellen, your unit does not help with
Yeah,
custody,
we do
right?
the same. We do downward modifications and whatnot for non-custodial parents. I have one client who is the custodial parent, but he was being charged child support despite being the custodial parent, so we're helping with that. But actual custody, we don't tend to do, no.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the only unit that helps with custody is the Domestic Violence Project, which is out of Suffolk County. So if the client has been referred by either Brighter to Mars or the retreat to our Domestic Violence Project in Suffolk County, then as a part of the order of protection, a lot of times they will also file for custody and child support. But we do all have other multi-issue units, such as the HIV, AIDS unit, and our veterans unit, and that is, you know, within perhaps something that they would do, but we'd have to ask them specifically, which they're not here today. Okay, so let's see here. I think that was all the questions. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for everyone for joining. Always, you know, like I said, we have the Legal Support Center for Advocates. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to email me directly or call. You can call Hannah, Kathy, Lucidi, and, you know, we'll answer any questions you might have about services we provide for your clients. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day, everybody.